Can I take a quick break to switch my battery?
Yes.
Yep.
And do you want to talk about before JR took his break?
Yeah, so I was gonna I wanted to talk about the WTF.
Okay, now we get into the controversy.
Oh, controversy.
This should have been front loaded.
Oh, Bears beef.
A
lot of beef
I
up
don't
in
have any
here.
beef with the WTF. I do have the best trick contest.
No, not you. I'm just saying, like,
Hopefully, I can play this without getting copyrighted. The WTF Trampwall. I can play this in the background, maybe. I don't think you're gonna copyright me.
I'm not going to.
I know, I'm just kidding. But I'm just gonna play it in the background.
I didn't know if that was like an automatic YouTube
so we can kind of
thing.
talk about what happened and how it went down. And I just kind of wanted a review of the WTF and how you guys think that went. And first of all, who thought of the name WTF?
That was all me.
Dude,
JR's
genius.
JR is a low-key genius, and no one, I think, really understands it.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny and really cool. I mean, as long as there's no people suing you over having the name WTF, but I don't think they do, and I think you can kind of
It's
acronym
not.
whatever you want.
The name is World Trampwall Federation.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But
Everyone else is going to call it the WTF.
I know it's actually genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't stop them.
Yeah.
how do you guys think that event went? Did you guys was it to how you wanted it to be, and
For me, yeah. Like,
was it everything went according to plan?
no.
Of
There were
course,
a
it never
lot.
does, but
A lot of things didn't, but it was intended to be a test event, just to see if we could do it, work out the bugs, see how long we could roll with a contest and keep it interesting for a viewer.
yeah.
And we sorted out a lot of problems, but in the end, it's 46 minutes, and to me, I think pretty much all of it's entertaining. So I think that's a huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's for sure. And taking the crowd element out of it just makes it go a lot smoother. Like today for me, I was just worried about too many people showing up, and I can't really record my voice if I'm projecting it to an audience and trying to narrate the video at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of it does look better on video if you just take out the crowd.
Well, it was a logistical thing. We could only fit so many people on the platform.
Yeah.
I knew that going in.
I was confused when you said, "Oh, we're gonna be limited on space." Your backyard's huge. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, backyard. That was in the middle of the desert, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that was a box. JR actually had specific invites and was just don't just bring whoever. We won't have space for them. So
Yeah, I had to tell people, if you're bringing your girlfriend, you have to tell me ahead of time, because if she just shows up, there
Yeah.
may not be space.
There may not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But from my end, I thought it went exceptionally well. Like what JR said, it was mainly a test. We wanted to see, how it would read in terms of would people think it's a legit event some other location, which worked really well. We wanted to see if our games were all interesting or varied. We wanted to see if we could stay in character the whole time. Could we entertain people for a long?
You were in character.
Yeah.
We're breaking the fourth wall.
Oh man.
No, it's fine. That's what we're here for.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was are we?
No, we're really discussing
okay.
it. It's good.
Oh.
So we needed to make sure that we could actually stay true to that the whole time, because normally it's as soon as the camera's done rolling, we break up laughing or something. We needed to make sure that, again, for 45 minutes.
Yeah, it ended up being 46 minutes.
Can you keep someone entertained for 46 minutes just doing Trampwall? Not a show, not clowning, not anything else. Can you keep someone there the whole time? And so that was a big win. Your YouTube viewing watch is a pretty good indicator of that, I feel
Yeah, the view percentage is really high.
Can I just say when I
Yeah.
saw the who was it, the one that did the kick?
Alec Kasov.
No,
Right.
No.
it was
Marley.
Oh,
Marley.
Marley did the kick.
Marley did the kick. Honestly, I thought was I can almost believe it.
Yeah.
Good.
And-
That's what we
yeah.
wanted.
Yeah, and then when people's oh, nothing happened, I'm like, oh, okay, that's part. It's
Yeah.
part of a game, which is
Yeah.
well as well. So like, I felt like, oh, it was, yeah, it has a lot of potential.
To that, there has been tons of comments
Mm-hmm.
about the fake kick, the fake fights, which is hilarious to me. Like
In
they're
a good
calling
way, or
me
in a
out
bad way.
in a bad way. They are really upset with us for doing that, for trying to make it as if we're actually having real fights. But they don't mention that there's a mime who's doing therapy on Garrett.
But that
It's
might,
like-
that might need to work a little bit. I could not see it.
You didn't see the mime?
No, I saw it, but
Oh.
I could not tell that he was really doing that. I thought it was just a friend.
Yeah, but it's a guy
Yeah.
with white gloves and a
Yeah.
beret, like doing arm motions to treat.
Just-
yeah,
I
yeah.
just remember.
Yeah.
No one ever mentions it. It's like we're trying to be entertaining. It's
Yeah.
obvious we put a mime, a fake thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no mime therapists in the world. We're not trying to
Right.
fool anyone. We're trying to be entertaining and maybe catch you off guard. It caught you off guard. And that was
Perhaps-
exactly the
Yeah,
point.
perhaps, and it was good. Perhaps what it is like, it's still new, and people need to maybe follow up more the story. Maybe the storyline was told too fast.
The storyline
Yeah, like
of the mime.
of the mime.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I
Oh,
couldn't.
could be.
I couldn't. I didn't understand. I thought it was a friend.
Yeah, and
Okay.
some of it too is people from TikTok have seen specific TikTok videos that
Mhm.
showcase that, so they'll know. Like we definitely have some audience who's coming from there who will get a lot of these jokes, where
Okay.
someone who's never seen any of that won't really understand.
Right. So
Yeah.
so what are we aiming with that? Like with this, is just to bring more audience into the discipline. Is like to eventually have a Junktramp on show.
Well, we'll see. I want to just shout out Jay. Jay's the mime, by the way.
Aloha, Jay.
Jay Steezy. No, we've done several videos
Mhm.
about the mime doing therapy on people.
Okay.
And not just this long video here,
Okay.
but nobody calls us out for the mime being fake, which is bizarre to me.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Is the people that are comment are people that actually do Trampwall?
No.
Or people that are outside and just like it?
Honestly, are there
video.
300 people in the world who do Trampwall? I don't even know if
I
there's
think
that
it's more
many.
than that. It's more
About
than-
that, but like that seriously do it, and then I would say a few thousand that like do it here and there.
Yes.
Well-
Because China, they have a lot in China though.
Do they
That's true.
really?
Do they? Okay.
Yes.
China and
Brazil.
Europe.
I've seen some people from Brazil.
in
I've
Russia.
not
In
seen.
Brazil, they have like out of nowhere. There was while I was performing last year in Brazil, there was a circus school that called me just to go there and just talk to the kids. There was literally 50 kids doing Trampwall.
That's
Wow,
amazing.
That's
And-
awesome.
And guess what? None of that. So I started to talk to them and teach them workshops, and it was really emotional for me because like I had ASIC shoes and none of them had shoes.
They're just barefoot.
And barefoot?
And barefoot,
Oh,
I
man.
took my shoes off just to be like them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's like the human side of it. So
Yeah.
that's why for me it's so important that the Trampwall really go well, and we have to have better direction because the way I see Trampwall guys is like the barriers of life, that you go through and you pass through, that sometimes we go down in life, but we come up to something special. So it's really lessons of life. It's not only tricks for me. So it comes from a hard place. So it means a lot that actually, I was invited to do this podcast over here with you guys because it's like the message is more than just the trick itself.
Yeah.
It's transform peoples with this discipline, not necessarily for Junktramp, Off-Axe, Circus Center, Circo du Soleil. It's not. It's people's life. And in Brazil, there is other places over there in Brazil where I support non-profit organization that kids don't have what to eat, man. And then the trampoline and they're doing the Trampwall is like something that give them a little bit of hope. And again, there is a message that we have to be able to pass with them as well,
I'm not as serious about all of that.
Yeah,
I
I
think
hear
if we were going to promote any sport
Mm-hmm.
for people around the world, it would be parkour.
Okay.
Because you don't need a trampoline.
Yes.
Trampolines are really expensive.
really expensive.
A trampoline that you can do Trampwall on is very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Even us, like we have money.
Yeah.
We're in a first world country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We struggle to pay for this
Right.
equipment.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't want to necessarily be promoting it for third world countries
Mhm.
or for poor people. That sounds bad, but it's not as accessible. It's going to be very hard. We struggled finding. I built mine because I didn't have anywhere to train.
Mm-hmm.
I have that luxury. These people don't. I love when they do. I want to encourage it. I love seeing them do it and progress. But I'm not. I don't look at the sport that way.
You see,
Maybe you do because you
that's where I came
were
from.
at the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, and
you
it's
created it.
also where I created.
Well, you were there when it
Yes.
was created.
Yeah, thank you.
But I
everyone just believes that you're.
But I came from skateboarding, and I don't even promote skateboarding that way because you get hurt a lot more in skateboarding. I got hurt a lot as a kid
Right.
skateboarding. I wasn't even a daredevil, and I was getting hurt. So I don't promote it for, and they're expensive.
Yeah.
I think parkour is where it's at. If you can make that
Yeah.
super cool, anyone can do it. You can go at your own pace. You can do it anywhere.
Anywhere.
Dirt, grass, sand, whatever you have. You just go at your own pace.
Again, so 12 years old kid
Uh-huh.
seeing somebody jump in a trampoline for the first time, and I was doing capoeira gymnastics at the time, and
It's mind-blowing.
It just blow my mind.
Yeah.
And if I'm here in America now, because one day I saw somebody doing that,
Yeah.
and I want that to be. You don't have to. Maybe out of those 50 kids that was there at the time, maybe one or two will actually reach that high.
Yeah.
But they will bring another kid, eventually. And we never know. We just have to be conscious about that as well. It's not, of course, not everyone will do it.
No, and I was kind of getting to that where I was saying, like, well, are there 300 people in the world doing it? There's millions of people who watch us.
Yes, as well. Yeah.
Almost none of them have the ability or the facility to do it, even
Yeah.
if they wanted to. And I feel bad about that. But I can't go play football either. You need a whole team.
Mhm.
Not all of
Yeah.
these things are going to be accessible
Accessible.
for everyone.
Mhm.
And that's just the way it is. I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm not going to stop making it entertaining. But I love Trampwall, obviously. But I don't feel like I necessarily owe a debt to it.
Mhm.
I want to respect it, and I don't want to make it look stupid, although I probably do sometimes. I want to make it entertaining. I want people to enjoy it, and I know that through that, a lot more people are going to start doing it.
Yes. Thank you.
I can see the effect of it, of what we're doing. We see posts of people doing things that we started.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not as serious as you,
Mm-hmm.
but we see the effect of it, and I love that as a community. I don't take ownership over it. I see a round tramp wall, which I think I made the first one. I seen one now on the internet
Did you really?
just yesterday, and I was stoked.
Well, there was Julian Borges.
The staircase.
Yeah.
That was a square tramp, by the way.
Was it?
Was it really?
Square tramp.
With the circulating staircase.
Square.
So some
And
of
that
the
was
times they're landing in the corners.
I
having
don't
to-
even want to get into it. I love that dude, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't take ownership over it. I'm sure lots of people had the idea before me,
Mhm.
but I just had the ability to make it, and I did. But the box game, I didn't create that. The first time I saw it was at Junktramp, but I think Derek or Dylan came up with it. Maybe I really
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know.
know.
And I think they played it somewhere else. Like,
Yeah, it's not like it's a groundbreaking revolutionary thing. We just taped a box at the edge.
But
you know
it
what I mean?
does help to have a little bit more focus on
Oh,
like,
for
what
sure.
to achieve from the Trump wall,
And
Like,
that's
this
why
is something like, okay, I have to train something.
Yeah.
I cannot relax my legs so I go to the side. I will not land in the box. So it actually will help.
Yeah,
in the long term,
and that's
the-
why I
the
do like
idea.
that game, because you can be throwing the biggest stuff, but if it's not in the box, it doesn't matter. So there's an element much more safer with that one.
Right.
And it does, for our end, it creates like a clear in and out, victory or no victory, and it helps bridge that gap,
Mhm.
because so much of like the competition today was purely subjective. Like,
Yes.
how do you judge someone's trick versus another trick? They're both dope in their respective categories,
Right.
and that makes it so much harder. Whereas a box is just, were you in or
Mm.
were you out? And that
Right.
makes it very clear cut, and so it's a lot better.
Mhm.
Now we still have drama about whether it was in or not,
yeah, sure.
but it's a lot more black and white. And then I want to say my own piece, I guess, on this. This would be directly to like you and Julian Kalari, because wall is very important to people, and there have been people who have come before me and I never ever want to disrespect a craft that someone's put so much into. And so I talked to JR right afterwards, and I was like, if Wellington were to come to me and be like, I don't like what you guys are doing, I think I'd be devastated. Like,
Oh,
I think I would
too.
cry.
I would too. And I mentioned that to Julian too. It was like, because he's expressed to me his concerns about it. Not me personally, but I suspected he was not going to like what we were doing. And so far, I think the jury's out. I haven't talked to him after he saw it, but he knew what we were doing and expressed that it was okay. But I don't know if I believe that at this point.
Yeah.
We'll see. But everything changes. Parkour turned into free running. Skateboarding started as this one thing where there were no flips, there was no ollies. It was supposed to be surfing on concrete.
Yeah.
And it changes. It changes over time. People are going to take it further. We've already seen, what, mega tramps, 10 by 20s. I don't remember what you call those. Super tramps,
Super Tramp,
yeah.
whatever, with giant walls.
Yes.
And that changes it. It's different. You see walls without a platform.
Yeah.
You see different size platforms.
You see walls without walls and just platforms.
You see that. You see windows,
Yeah.
See just bars.
Yeah. There's-
bars. Yeah, and you can't really compare too much between a wall and a bar. There is some similarities, but it's not the same. It doesn't
Mhm.
look the same, and I'm good with that. I want it to keep changing and progressing, and keeping ownership of it is a fool's errand. You can't. It's gonna change.
That's why I really don't claim that I'm the guy, because there's other people that actually try to present the idea for Cirque before, and it went somewhere else. I cannot talk
Yeah.
specific about that now, but things get involved and people taking a different perspective. I brought elements of capoeira gymnastics
Yeah.
into the
There you
and the trampoline, and
Everyone
if,
takes their
if
background.
it was not for that, there would not be the Lanuba as you guys has saw it.
Mm-hmm.
There would not be.
But if we kept it too close, if everyone kept their thing that close, I mean, all the trampolinists would be angry at the trampwallers. You're messing up trampoline. That's not how
That's
you use a
true.
trampoline.
Actually, that's not all. It's true, because what happened? There was actually a big embrace from the trampoline community after when they saw the
That's-
trampoline.
That's the way it should be.
No, and it's awesome, because when we did some presentation for them, some of the French team came to see the Lanuba back in the days. Then there was a competition in Belgium, and somehow I was able to get tickets for everybody in the competition. And I was doing Dralion at the time.
Okay.
It blew people's minds away.
That's awesome.
It's like we and then after that, some of the artists, the athletes actually came to Cirque to perform for Cirque. So we will
Oh.
actually inspire them to go, because there is a career after after you being an athlete, So Cirque is one of the way to do it, and eventually Junktramp, if you guys do shows as well, you're gonna embrace other people.
I think a big thing that at least I think we're trying to do, me and JR, but this is kind of my own thoughts, so I don't want to place them on you, is we're not trying to compete for a pie. We're not trying to, I'm doing one thing and that's going to stop people from doing a tramp wall like off-axis style or anything else. Like I see it as the more people that can get, the more eyeballs we get on what we're doing, the more it's going to trickle down to actual quote unquote like real tramp wall where you're progressing and you're doing tricks without all the drama and the extra narrative that we're doing. I think if you take American Ninja Warrior, until that show came on and got popular, how many American Ninja or parkour courses were there in the world?
Right.
Not that many. And that show has drastically increased the level of conscientiousness of the American population on American Ninja Warrior.
Mhm.
And there are courses all across the
Yep,
world.
and inspire
So if
many
we
kids.
can blow something up by doing what we're doing, businesses, gyms are going to start building more walls, which makes it more accessible, which means more people are doing tramp wall and they
Yeah.
get to experience the same thing that we got to experience.
I want to tag on that story too, because I look at American Ninja Warrior as 75% drama and 25% athleticism. If you watch the show, they tell people's backstories, and the more heartbreaking your story, the more airtime you get.
Yep.
and the more cheers you get. And, you know, I feel a certain way about that. And about the, what's the, not X Factor, but the
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent,
Yeah,
same
AGT,
way.
super like that.
Yeah, they play the backstories. We all have lots of friends that have been on it,
Yeah.
and some that have refused to be on it for that reason,
Yeah.
because they'll tell a story. And where I want to specifically pick up here with what we're doing is those shows try to over dramatize someone's real actual life, their disability or whatever, and
Yeah.
capitalize on it. We're not doing that. I don't want to do that. I think it's gross. We're doing stories,
Yeah.
like Harry Potter stories. We're not taking someone's real life and twisting it for money or fame or whatever. We're creating a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
from scratch.
there have been real times where we've said no to certain content because we didn't think it was not like it would either cause too much like real hatred towards certain people, or it just wasn't ethically, like it wasn't right. It was too much. So we've already had those conversations and thoughts, and we just don't want to ever have to make it be. We don't want that kind of deceit out there. We want it to be a story where everyone knows it's,
Yeah.
for the most part.
I had a reality TV also contact me to do a Trampwall story and do a show, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then they're like, "Oh, tell us a little bit of your story." And you have to record their video and stuff like that. Apparently, and my family is all in Brazil, so it's like my story was not dramatic enough to be aired. I'm like, it's all good,
Huh.
you know, because it's they want drama, you know.
Yep.
It's how they feed the audience. So.
Mm.
Yeah. I did have like 2 TV shows contact me about having a Trampwall contest this year, and both of them, all they wanted was drama. And then I was afraid to like give them permission to do it because I feel like then it would just be taken off, and then it would turn into like a reality TV show with me having no control over it, and like literally just it'd just be kind of a shit show. And I hate the way that America's Got Talent and those shows are done. And that's pretty much all those TV shows look for. And maybe like Trampwall's coming into a generation where maybe it should stick to like YouTube or something, so to where the community does have like full control over like what happens and stuff. Like we don't really need like a TV show to get a bunch of views on a TV, you know? Like we could literally do it ourselves, and like it's like a nice era where like the people are in control over it still. You don't really need to sell out to a TV show.
Well, right now we're doing it for our own, but I don't even know how big a deal this is, if it's a big deal or not. But I'm making one for Snapchat now, a Snapchat series. But it's just we're doing the same thing we've been doing. They just want it edited differently to fit commercials and stuff in there. And I'll do that all day. Like we're in control of the story. We can make it dramatic. I mean, we want more eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
We need to make it entertaining, however we do that. But we don't have to dig into Jake's real life childhood and like.
Too much drama there.
No, I mean that's.
No, just kidding.
Like there are some things that we've done that we pull from real life,
Right.
and then some things we don't. And sometimes we make, like for me, like my teeth were getting commented a lot in my videos because they're really crooked and one's super far back.
Somebody actually talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the internet's mean. Come
Yeah.
on,
So
I don't let
mean.
it affect me, but the internet definitely does that.
Holy
And so I decided to play off that, and this is a real story. So anyone who thinks all of our stuff is fake, it's not. This actually
Okay.
happened. Before I learned how to do flips, I went to do a gainer off a diving board into a pool.
yeah.
And me and my brother were like, let's be smart. Let's just do half a gainer because it's a little less flip,
Right.
more likely to succeed, I guess. And then I went to do it, got scared, back smack super hard. My brother's laughing at me. He goes up. He does it successfully. Gets to his head. It's not pretty, but he does it. He's 2 years younger than me. So I'm like, oh, I can't let my little brother
Yeah.
show me up. He's like, just tuck, man. Just tuck your knees in and you'll make it around. So I jump off. I tuck my knees in. I make it around. But as my head hit, my upper body stopped moving and my lower body kept moving. And my knees just smoked both front teeth all the way back. And they were hanging on just barely. I had to go to the ER, get them shoved all the way back into place with no pain medication or anything. And they stuck basically a makeshift brace where they just glued a wire across like the front 6 teeth to hold those two there. And like as it was kind of setting, the wire kind of popped out of the glue. And so that's why this one just set way back in, and they're both dead. They had whatever that.
Nerve damage of some kind.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
nerves are dead, but they also had to put a root canal, I think.
Yeah,
it's
you got a
called.
root canal.
Oh, okay.
So both of those are like that, and that's been a story that has been very real, and I've actually been super scared of gainers ever since, and only recently have I learned how to do that. Gainer on the wall is like, I'm still nervous about those.
Right.
I'm so
Yeah.
surprised you threw that.
Yeah,
I
I
was
just,
like, wow, he just did a gainer for no
Nice.
reason.
sometimes when I'm scared of something, I
Push
really
it.
just
Yeah.
want to,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if it doesn't, like, to you, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like, a gainer's a gainer. There's a few people, and it was a little bit, but I could have pulled so many other tricks.
Right.
But for me, I wanted
Yes,
to do a
yes,
gainer.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's different us doing it versus a producer going in and taping you and asking you like leading questions and then editing it
yeah.
with no comedy, no wink, no nothing to suggest that this is like tongue in cheek,
Mhm.
to just make you look like the saddest, most pathetic person.
Yeah.
And then like you triumph because you win. You know,
Yeah.
if you win America's Got Talent or something.
Well, I just hope you guys don't grow too much that the multimedia will change you this perspective. You know, because it's in the easy, in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
we say
Well,
that.
you're right about that. I feel like it's like in my core, like I would never. But I didn't think I would do this either. Like growing up, I'd watch the WWE, and I was like, "What is this garbage? How do
Right.
people watch that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still feel that way, but I'm doing like kind of like 25% of that,
Yeah.
and I'm enjoying it. So we do change, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I've sent videos and photos to, like, we've talked about the WWE, and I've looked up YouTube videos of them to see if we can draw inspiration.
Yeah.
We saw a live wrestling, like me and my house group saw a
Yeah.
live wrestling
Yeah.
match for the first time, like a WWE style
Yes,
one in person. And I like fully went in there being like, I'm taking notes of like what we could do. Like, why do people love it so much? I was people watching just as much as I was watching the
Right,
actual
right,
event,
right.
because that's what we're doing. And to me, it's all like, we're having so much fun.
Right.
I can't get over like,
Yeah,
we finish our rolling or our sets or whatever, we just start
Mhm.
cracking up, and we're making jokes, and it's just a bunch of guys who love what they do and creating and having fun with it. And that to me is just, I feel like that's always something special. So
For sure. And guys, a little bit of a topic with the Trampwall. Where we take the Trampwall from now? Like, where are we going with that? Like, I mean, you guys are having a movement of X. You just had the competition. I'm planning to do a little, progression of Trampwall, but of course with everybody's support. Are we continue doing like as we doing now? Sometime we having competition. If so, then are you planning to have another competition next year?
I would like to have a competition that's not 6 days after another one.
Okay, that's a good point.
that's not my fault. You shouldn't have scheduled it like that.
Did,
Oh,
did-
so it
who
was a
scheduled it
miscommunication. It was a
first?
miscommunication. then.
Because
No,
I
it
put
just
out my
happened that way.
flyer date, and it was March 15th, and then like a week later, JR invites me to his competition. That's 5 or 6 days before mine. I'm just like, fuck.
I don't think it matters. I really
well,
don't.
I think
Yours
it
is
does,
yours
because
is
no
5
one-
days after mine.
I know. Well, I don't know. I just literally picked the date, and I picked it 2 months ago, and I've been like doing all this stuff to make sure like I got this house, to make sure like everything
yeah.
like, because I had to get this house to make sure that I could have the Trampwall competition,
Right.
to make sure everything would go and smooth, and like this date's been planned for a while. And then I was like, wait, there's a Trampwall competition 6 days before mine. Like,
I think we really should have had them like back to back, like mine on Saturday, yours on Sunday.
I think either
That would've
back to
been better.
back or just
That'll be interesting.
separated more, because like a lot of people who compete one week don't want to compete the next week, rather
Yeah.
than if you have a date to look forward to, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to that one, and like
I was
I'm gonna
thinking
train and stuff.
I was thinking back to back because people who were traveling could do both,
Yeah,
on one trip. But we did it just because of scheduling for the people who were going to be there. Like for Dylan especially, that was the only day he could be there. So we're like, well,
I think that was the
Gotta be
problem.
that
Was
day.
I was like, oh, Volta's days off, and you guys were like, Volta's days off, and we're like, all right, well, these are their days off, so let's schedule them on these ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
the
Well,
way it goes.
I